Was the violent assault and subsequent death of a 30-week baby girl in the womb of the mother an abortion or murder? Well, according to Deputy District Attorney Gina Pearl, quote, there's a lot of angles to consider. I guess one being that murder is now legal in California as long as your mother agrees to have your skull bashed in by her boyfriend. I'm Ben Davies, this is Pure Hollywood. Now, in this new case, about an hour and a half north of me, a 30-week pregnant woman agreed to have her boyfriend viciously punch her repeatedly in the stomach until, quote, they stopped feeling the baby move, unquote. Later at the hospital, the baby was delivered from her mother, and it was found that the baby girl suffered a fractured skull and severe traumatic injuries that the doctor said, quote, led to the child's death. And it is currently unclear if the baby died in the womb or in the hospital. Now, to any sane person, this is absolutely horrific. However, here are a few angles that this attorney general will have to consider. California, in spite of being pretty open about having no limitations on abortion whatsoever, only technically legally allows abortions before 24 to 26 weeks, meaning the baby is viable outside of the mother's womb. And even then, 21-week premature births have been successful. Now, this baby girl was developed a full month past the California legal limit. But because the mother chose to kill the baby, the angle they have to consider is it's a human right. However, if the boyfriend did the exact same act and the mother didn't choose to do it, then we'd be looking at a murder charge, life in prison, and the death penalty in certain states. So is this murder? Well, obviously it is. But here's the mental gymnastics and willful insanity you must lobotomize into your self-righteous skull to think choosing to kill a baby girl is a human right. In this article, some solid journalism actually takes place, where they actually interviewed both sides of the conversation, a pro-life activist named Mary Lee Schreider and a pro-choice leader Jennifer Bloomquist. The opening statements of each woman are somewhat similar and then deviate drastically. The pro-life leader said, quote, I was shocked and wanted to burst into tears, unquote. The pro-choice leader said, quote, of course we don't want anyone to suffer violence, unquote. Now, obviously, this opening statement is weak, particularly when it comes to the violent death of the most innocent and helpless among us, a baby girl, but their following statement is the most illuminating. The pro-life leader said, quote, so the difference in this case is that the mother didn't want the baby? The baby is a human being or she's not. The fact that she's wanted or unwanted it is not relevant. It doesn't make her less human, unquote. The pro-choice response was, quote, we can prevent future cases by offering greater access and even funding for abortions, safe and legal abortions, not including miscarriages, unquote. Notice nothing mentioned about the term of the pregnancy or the viability of the baby. And this is because the safe, legal, and rare stance, which used to be one of the platforms of the Democratic Party, was changed, specifically to remove the word rare. Free abortions with no limitations is the official Democratic Party platform. You can find no mention of any limitations on the entire website. So the only critique from this pro-choice leader in this horrendous case is that the abortion should have been free. Tell me this, what the hell is the difference between a woman and her boyfriend beating this baby to death and a doctor dismembering this baby girl with scissors and forceps until the baby is removed from the womb? Would the baby still suffer violence as she so virtuously vomited in her opening statement? Be intellectually honest for a moment and really just think that through. First, she's an idiot. Second, the only difference in that situation is that you're loyal to a party slogan. That's it, and the only cost is a baby girl's life. If at a very minimum you're radical and at least intellectually honest, we can have a discussion about 20 weeks where the baby can feel pain and is potentially viable. But that stance is deemed as misogynist and not a part of the official Democratic Party platform. I mean, really, at what point does responsibility matter? These two should be put in jail for the rest of their lives, and every pro-choice activist and politician needs a better answer to this issue. Free and whenever you want to doesn't cut it when it comes to a baby girl's life. Something to think about, nearly every single European country does not allow abortions past 16 weeks. And what's the USA's, you ask? They're among only 7 countries in the world, including Canada, China, Vietnam, North Korea, and Singapore that don't have any official restrictions on the length of the abortion. Why? Because according to the left, this is a human right. No, greater than that, this is a woman's right. And if you don't agree with that, then you're a horrible misogynist who hates women. We cannot let social political pressure let another murder go without justice. And if you are in the radical left on this issue, and you still think you're acting out in some form of compassion, ask yourself this. When you rally together and celebrate something that at the very least should be a devastating and horrible decision, maybe you're the monster. I'm Ben Davies, this is Pure Hollywood. If you haven't done it already, you can now download the Rebel Media app. That way you have access to the entire Rebel lineup and can take it with you wherever you go.